Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero.com. Today I want to demonstrate on how quick and easy it is to get a cloud dedicated server set up with us here at NameHero. Okay, so those of you that need a dedicated server, it's going to be normally you're going to fall into one of two categories. One, you're a web host reseller where you're selling space to your clients and you've grown out of your reseller package, or you just want dedicated functionality so you have SSH access. Then you're going to be going for a cloud dedicated server. The other category is those of you that are webmasters or app developers that either have a very popular website that's getting a lot of traffic with maybe a lot of databases and stuff like that, or you just need the SSH access. 99% of websites out there will host just fine on our default reseller packages, our basic reseller packages. But in the need that you need your own dedicated server, then this is where you go for it. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is. You'll notice that each one of our dedicated servers, they come with Web Host Manager and cPanel pre-installed. That's default configuration. It's also CentOS 6.6, which is a great Linux solution. Now it's important to note before we get started here that all new dedicated server orders must be manually phone verified. So normally during the day, we normally have these turned around in about 20 minutes. But if we don't in 20 minutes, then we promise within the next 24 hours of your order we will have it set up. Now we do this for fraud verification, so please make sure when you submit your order that you give us a valid phone number that we can call you on. And we don't like to call at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, so that's why I say during working hours 9 to 5 we'll call you normally within that next 20 minutes and get your server online. If you order at 1 or 2 a.m. then please allow us some time to call you and verify your order. So it's very important that you give us a valid phone number, because without that we cannot get your server online until we talk to you. Okay, with that said, now what you do here is you can go ahead and make your selection on whichever one you want. You'll notice the first two here have the regular SATA hard drives, and then these other two here have the solid state drives. So basically, you're going to get more space with the SATA, but you're going to get better performance with the solid state drives. So it's up to you whichever solution that you want. For this example, we're just going to choose this 19 gigabyte SATA hard drive. So we're going to click deploy. Okay, when we do that, we need to define a domain name. So we're just going to type in namehero.org here. That's going to be our domain name we're going to use for this server. Okay, next we're going to configure the server. So this is very simple, but we have to name the server something. This is the unique name for the server, and it can be anything you want it to be. You can use alpha, beta, server 1, 1, 2, 3, whatever fits your needs. So you can see in our example we call it server 1, but I'm just going to type in alpha 1. Okay, so that's the server name. That's all we put in this field. We put nothing else. Now for the name server prefix, again, this could be anything you want it to be, but the default is just NS1 and NS2. That is your default for that. Now your root password, you want to make this strong, so I like to use a password generator, and make sure you write this down, but I like to use a password generator just in another browser just to make sure I get something very strong, because like I said, this is your root password. This is what gives access to your machine. So we're going to go ahead and put it in here. And next, we get to define if we want offsite backups. Now, by default, you can back up with these servers on the hard drive in them. But if you want to add offsite backups, you could do that here. And if you do select that, then you would select how much space you need. Now, this had 900 gigabytes hard drive in it, and you might not use all that, so you could start with just a 100 gigabyte backup. And as you grow, you can add on space to your server to back up. I'm just going to leave this no for our tutorial, though, for our example. Dedicated IPs, this machine comes with 8. If you need more than 8, then you will have to talk to our compliance team later on. But to get started, it is 8. Monthly bandwidth, 5 terabytes a month is going to work for 99% of the people out there. If you have a very popular site and need more, or maybe you have a streaming video site, then you can add more here, or we could also add that later. So next we're going to add to cart and check out. Okay, so now at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and complete our payment, and then we'll get our server online. Okay, so after you get your order complete and verified, you're going to be able to log into your control panel at NameHero.com, and it's going to give you everything you need to get started with your dedicated server. Now, unlike you might think, we make it very simple and easy for you to get up and running with the dedicated server. Okay, so basically you've got your password that you entered. This is your root password. Again, you want to make sure that you keep that just to yourself. But to set up your website, you're going to want to go into Web Host Manager. So you're going to click this link right here. When you do so, you're going to be brought to the Web Host Manager login. So here you're going to enter the username root and your password. Okay, now once you're inside Web Host Manager, then you now have to configure this, and it's very simple. You just basically want to read through the licensing agreement for them, and once you do so, then you can click on Agree. The next step is the feature showcase, and these are just additional features that come with Web Host Manager, and you can read through each one of these and see which ones you want and which features you don't want. By default, we have a couple already selected, but if you don't want them, you can just click No Thank You. If you don't want to go through it right now and just want to get to creating your site on the server, you can just click Exit, but I'm going to go ahead and just click Save, and it just takes a second to update the features. Okay, once I do that, I am then inside of Web Host Manager, and I'm ready to begin provisioning my websites on my dedicated server. So just like with our other reseller accounts, we can go down to here and go to create a new account. You start typing in create at the top here, and then you can go ahead and configure your domain name. So remember, for this server, we set up NameHero.org. So we could just call it that. We could type in our password. They match. Whoops. And they don't match naturally, so we can just use this. Make sure you save it. Use password. There we go. Unlike the resellers, you don't have to select a package. Since this is your dedicated server, you have full control over everything, so you can go in here and you can select the options manually. If you want to just go ahead and set things to unlimited, you can, or you could allocate each site a space limit for bandwidth and disk. If you're doing this for your clients, then just same as the resellers, you can limit that based on what they pay for. If you're doing this for your own sites, I would just leave it at unlimited. That's definitely what I do when I'm setting up sites on servers for my companies. Dedicated IP address. Remember, this server comes with 8, so you can click here and give this site a dedicated IP. You can click here to select which one you want, or you can just let the system auto-assign it. Next, you can determine if the site needs shell access. Remember, that's the powerful feature about ordering a dedicated server with us at NameHero, is you have full shell access to the server. So this will allow you to assign this particular user for the NameHero.org site to SSH in the machine. Now, if that's for you, I would enable that, but I would keep this off just because you don't want to give SSH access out to too many people. The more times you enable that, the more vulnerable your server becomes. Okay, so scroll down. Now you can actually make NameHero a reseller here, but we're going to tick that off. So if you wanted to actually sell reseller services, you could do that here as well. For DNS settings, you want to just leave this default unless you know what you're doing. If you have any questions, our support team can walk you through that. And we can go ahead and create. Okay, now you can see everything is created and you're ready to get rocking and rolling. Now, just like our regular resellers, we need to make sure that we register these name servers. And if you need to go back and rewatch that reseller video on how to register name servers, check that out. You can search our knowledge base for that. But once you do that, you just update NameHero.org's name servers, and then you're going to be good to go on a dedicated server. And you can go back here and you can click on list, or you can start typing in list, and it will show you that NameHero.org is set up and ready to go. So that's how simple, easy it is to get started with your dedicated server with us here at NameHero.com. If you go back to the platform, you can see we monitor everything in real time. So you can scroll down, you can see your server name is here, your primary IP address is here, cPanel link is right here, and as well as the web host manager, which you've already demonstrated. If you need to reboot your server, you can do it here. You can also shut down the server, start the server, restore it. You actually can't use that feature. We have to do that for you manually on our end. You can check out the history, and you can also look at the IP addresses as well as manage the firewall. So anything that you want to manage, you have full control over your server. And by default, we have this disabled. If you know what you're doing, you can go in and enable this, or you can have our team do that. Now, Web Host Manager comes with its own firewall, so we normally keep this disabled and let Web Host Manager handle that. That's one of the most powerful things about Web Host Manager, is it has all that built in already. And you can see the status is update in real time as soon as you load this page. It says, okay, the server's running. You can scroll down, and over time you'll start to see your bandwidth. Over time you also start to see your server load. You can see it was a little maxed out as we just did the creations. That's normal. But you can see your load average right here, and if any alerts come up, it will be right here. You can notice normally once a new server is built, Apache fails to load, but then it comes back online. Finally, the only other thing that you need to be aware of is the IP address management. Each of our dedicateds come with 8 IPs and no more. If you need more, you'll need to submit a ticket and provide information to our sales team about what you plan on using those for. So you can have more than 8, but you would have to pay for each one individually and let them know what you're using them for. But they are all provisioned on your server. You have 8 ready to go. So there you have it. Your dedicated server's online. You're ready to rock and roll. You have the power of the cloud, meaning if you outgrow your dedicated server, we can reskill this in real time. We can easily go up to one of these solutions in real time. So that means that we don't have to take your server apart or transfer your files. We can automatically change your server to one of these here, or here. So that's the awesome thing about the NameHero Cloud, is you're not just stuck right here. Once you grow out of this and you need more, if you want to go to a solid state or you need more space, we can do that in real time for you. So that's the power of the NameHero Cloud. I want to thank you for watching this, and we really look forward to working with you, serving all your dedicated server needs.